Good morning and welcome to this talk. Today I will talk about the ego. Let's start with taking a few breaths. So, the ego. The ego is a mind bug, plain and simple, but it's a very powerful mind bug. This mind bug has kidnapped your consciousness and turned you into a believer, a storytelling believer. It has turned you into a storytelling believer that believes in his own stories that he's telling himself and others. He also believes in the stories told by others. The ego makes you believe in fairy tales, and it has turned the earth into something you could call a demon or a demigod. The culture. The culture is the extended ego. It's if you're born into the culture, you get shaped by the culture. You start becoming a believer as soon as you respond to your name and you think you are a separate individual. Then your soul dies. It doesn't die, but it get pushed away. This this is extended ego, the culture. When you're born into the culture, you may die. Any anyone may die and disappear, but the culture still lives on. And the culture is telling stories. The culture is all stories. And we often think about culture as a good thing. We think about art, dance, singing, etc. And those are necessary uh, parts of life. It's celebrations of life, actually. But when we talk about culture, we our impression, our concept, the things we link to that word, culture, there are so many. It's a lot about how you should live, what you should believe, how you should behave, how you should eat, how you should speak, what you should eat if you belong to a certain culture. And that's the culture I talk about. Dance, art, singing, music. Those things exist without a culture. some of these concepts, like singing songs, some songs belong to certain culture, but you see the misconception. The culture has also kidnapped the expressions. The culture uses these expressions as a way to legitimize its existence. We should never question the culture. That's the message. The culture is a good thing. So, this is how huge and immense the power of the ego is. It doesn't even need you. It doesn't need your ego. You cannot kill culture. Or can we? No, we can never kill the ego, but we can control it and take the power of it by stop believing in the ego's stories and the fairy tales. Let's start with us, ourselves. Where does it begin? Well, as soon as you get kidnapped by this mind bug, you start believing in stories. You become a believer, not in a specific thing or religion or teaching. You're just a believer. You believe in things that you don't know. You could say also, when you don't know at all, you guess, because we get this urge and need to know. We cannot not know. The soul doesn't know anything. It is. But the ego is a storytelling mind bug that cannot not know. It knows everything. That's the thing it does. It says, this is the way it is. But in reality, things are just what it is, without someone telling us what it is. Because the things in themselves are not the stories about them. They are not our perception. They are not the words that we call them. We cannot even see them, since we have this conceptual seeing closely connected to language and words. So the language and the words shape our consciousness and makes us blind. That's how the ego works. What it is when we talk about ego. The ego tells you stories about yourself and others. You believe in these stories, you become this individual who believes in stories and who tells yourself stories that you believe in. When you believe in them, you tell other people these stories. You say, this is the way it is, and they listen and they believe you, and they tell other people, this is the way it is. That I've heard that, I read that, everybody says that it is this way, because everybody cannot be wrong. Although it would be a huge coincidence if everybody had exactly the same perception of everything and also were right, all of them. So it's a false consensus. When you tell yourself these stories, how it is, the fairy tales, you strengthen the mind. Ego is nothing but the mind. Ego has no soul at all. The soul is one thing, the ego is another thing. The soul doesn't need mind. It has good use for the brain, the eyes, the senses. It also has good use for the body. Whatever it is, from where the soul comes, it has good use for you if you are the soul. And then it has good use for you as an entity moving around in a body, communicating with other human beings and animals and nature. We could say the soul of the humans and our physical appearance is the prolonged arms of what most people call God, but I call the what is. That just is what it is, without words. When the mind gets weak, the soul gets strong. When the soul gets strong from not believing in stories, not believing in anything, not believing in thoughts, not believing in internal reasoning, compulsive thinking, then the ego gets scared shitless. It's about to die, disappear, because it's just a mind bug, it's just an illusion, and it could very well disappear. It has no body, no soul, no nothing, except itself. And itself is an illusion, a misconception, and misconceptions can go away when you learn the truth, the true state of things. It happens all the time. So if you reach that state where you start questioning most things you know, most things you heard, most things you think you know, then the ego will revolt, it will start to fight. It will try to make you think, try to make you question yourself. It will say, you're mad, you're great, you could make money from these insights. You could become a Buddha or Jesus. You could get locked up. Nobody will talk to you anymore. Nobody will love you. You're insane. You will lose all your friends, your wife and your children. You will rule the world. You're the smartest person on earth. You're so unique, etc., etc. The best way to protect yourself from these thoughts is a simple meditation. And I will give you this meditation now. This meditation will, if you keep at it, eliminate the power of the ego. It will turn things around and make the ego your tool instead of you being the tool of the ego. So your true self doesn't need to know anything or say anything. It doesn't believe anything. It just is. It's wordless awareness. So how to reach this wordless awareness? Not by thinking. You cannot think this out. If you listen to people and believe them, gurus and teachers, you will be a believer. And you will not take full responsibility yourself. You will be the little me, the little unmature person who believes in other people, that in their turn believe in other people, that in their turn believe in other people, in eternity, without a true premise. So here's the meditation. Just start now after this video is over and be quiet. Thoughts will come, and these thoughts, they are not yours. Thoughts about total nonsense, and reflections about this and that. Oh, that tree is tall. Oh, what am I doing? My foot hurts. It's a bit cold. I should go inside. I'm tired. I need coffee. Wow, this is very cool. I should make more movies. I should talk about this myself. Thoughts. So the meditation is, don't believe your next thought. Any thought. Just stay quiet internally. No thought at all. Keep at it, and the thoughts will diminish. They will see, oh, there's nobody home here that believes me. The thoughts, the ego, will get confused. The mind and the thoughts, the tools of the ego, will start giving you strange thoughts. It will try anything. And the more strange the thought becomes, the easier it will be for you to see that these are not my thoughts. And it's actually fascinating just to see them. You will be fascinated and perplexed in your quiet awareness. You will see these things, but you will not put words on them or descriptions. You will just think one thing, and that's a thought, but just one. I will not believe my next thought. This is the most efficient way to eliminate all the other thoughts, and you will end up with this only thought. I will not believe my thoughts until there is no thoughts coming anymore, and everything will be quiet. You will experience it as total silence, because the noise is the ego shouting at you these thoughts about everything. So let's leave it with this. Don't believe your next thought. The thought will come, of course. I will not try that, or it's too hard, or it's not possible. So most of you will not try it even, which is proof in itself. I told a lot of people to try this. No one ever tries it. They just think it's ludicrous and it's impossible. But it's totally possible. It's totally doable. It takes 1 minute. If you can do it for 1 minute, your world will change and you will find peace.